Yep, I hear that.
It's really it's little things like that, like little like little hacks like that that I've kind of discovered.
Oh yeah, like
Um,
people are lazy by nature, so this is just a way to get them to actually do the one thing, just the one thing.
totally,
And
totally.
and
Yeah.
and the thing is, like, power to everybody deserves an equal opportunity to win, right? But if they don't follow the instructions, they deserve exactly what they got, which is nothing because they didn't follow the instructions. So it's like you're not here. Like I know everybody goes like, "Oh, I want to go to Web3 and I'm going to get an airdrop and it's going to be something free." It's great, cool. You got an airdrop, but what does that do? That's that player versus player mentality, and you're always like trying to take from somebody else. But like that's one thing I love about the Gary Club and the draft community is that it's not that like that. We're trying to actually all win together, and
Mm.
we've actually had successes together. Where other communities, there's usually just like it's always taking from each other.
Well, that's a great point. Also, you've never really seen, or at least I haven't. And again, I've been around long enough now to have that mean something. Like, I've never really seen any other community where people,
Mm-hmm.
just the average holder, like Reich or like me, is just doing giveaways.
Yep.
Um, like I can't even think of a time where like one person was just like, I'm gonna do like I really can't. And again, I've been in some really big communities like God Hates NFTs, like like Creeps, like I've been in some really big ones. And you don't ever see anything like that.
Yep. Like I said, this is a different place. Like when it almost sound like there's so much scammy bullshit that goes on in Web3 that when people run into us and we're not like that, I think that they automatically are on guard because there's so many bad actors out there now. But if anybody's listening, like, do your own,
It feels
by all
weird.
means, do your
It
own research.
feels
But we're
weird.
not like
Yeah.
that. We're not
Yeah.
like that. And that, like, I know that that's words are cheap. Go do your own research. But I could tell you, like, I've been around here for 4 years, and there's a reason. And it's not like I've just been like buying and selling and stuff. I've been holding. So it's not like I know what's coming. I know it's coming, and it's like I've known for 4 years that this is being built, and it's like it's big. Like this is something big, and if people don't actually pay attention, a year from now, if you go, like, oh, I remember those draft people. Oh, I could have gotten this. Like Joe, you're a perfect example. You got your draft at like what was it, point six when you started buying?
My like my cheapest one was 0.44, but
Point
like
four four.
if you're gonna average them, it's probably like 0.6, 0.7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so about point six, and now the floors. I mean, I haven't actually checked in the last hour or so, but it's definitely higher than point six in case I'm mistaken, unless something happened
I
last
looked this morning around like 5 a.m. and we're at 7.2.
7.2. That's
We
what it
didn't
was.
have a sell. We didn't have a sell, which
And
I
that's
kind of
another thing,
thought
guys.
would happen. I thought
We're
it's
down to
Easter.
three on that giveaway, just so everybody knows. Let me go
Yeah.
find Gary's giveaway and pin it. But we're down to four, down to three. You could earn them back, but it's like just so you know, it's not everybody that's up on stage's responsibility alone to go. We buy them. I go and buy them. I know Joe goes and buys them sometimes. I know people come up here, but it's everybody's. If you have value and you want to make sure that if you're trying to go get that stacker, and you want to make sure you have the best opportunity, well, now it's three getting given away instead of five. So it's a much lower chance now because all we need to do is, but it's like one person can't make the purchase every single day, so we all have to spread that
Well,
out.
and I took that on
Yeah.
myself. I took that on myself for a while.
Hmm.
And I did it.
I
Like
did too, man, and
I
like
did
I've
it
been that
for a
person.
little bit. Like I did it a few times, but it was just like it's like getting so expensive that like I
Hmm.
can't. It's like like I've dropped like a lot of money doing that, and it's like I just like I simply can't afford it.
Hmm.
So it's just like all right, I can't like I can't.
Yeah,
You know.
I get what you're saying, and I've been there too. So that's why I'm saying like everybody just it's all of our responsibilities, not just one of ours. It's like if you can't get it, that's not don't feel stressed, but it just know that if you do, if you happen to be that person that's in that position at that time, take that mantle. It's be like if you value that giveaway, and the purpose of that we're trying to do, and also because it looks good and it helps all of our assets, then go out and grab that thing. If you value it and you want to make sure that you have your best opportunity, then do what you have to do. But if you can't, I like I said, like I get money. Money doesn't grow on trees. I get it. It grows on Gary trees though.
It grows on Gary trees, and giraffes make it. Digital giraffes make it. That's where money comes from.
Mm-hmm.
God, I wish you could see my dog right now. Just the behavior of animals is so funny. She does this thing like on where
Uh-huh.
she'll like come out to the grass and like just start kind of like rubbing her body every like she'll like go on her back, and she does this thing where she'll kind of like kick her leg to where like her back just like rubs across the grass. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, what is that all about? Like, what is that behavior? What are you doing?
What type
Probably
of
something
dog do
about
you
like,
have?
it's a lab. She's the fucking most amazing dog in the world. But it has something to do with her like rubbing her scent or trying to get rid of hair or something. But it just fun. It's just funny, It's really strange behavior. She's the most amazing dog, dude. She wants to be everybody's best friend. She's the sweetest thing in the world. She would never defend me. Like if someone broke in, she would never bite anybody or like do a thing. She would like go up and try to get pet. That's how like sweet of a fucking angel my dog is. It's like not a mean bone in her body. Dunk and Christian now. They both
Mm-hmm.
met Oatmeal.
She just wants all the loving.
Yeah, she just wants everyone to be her best friend. She really like she's not of this world at all. She's an amazing, amazing dog. I'm not even really like a I'm not even really like an animal person. Like the only reason things work with us having Oatmeal is because she's an exceptional animal. She's really smart too. She's really smart. She knows what you're saying. She understands a lot of words. Pretty wild. She's a really, really interesting dog. I could never have like I could never have like one of those like small dumb dogs where it's like a vanity dog. Could never do that. Like she knows I'm talking about her right now. It's funny. She's like looking at like just the way she's like looking up with her eyes at me. She's like, "Yeah, you're talking about me." It's really funny. It's strange behavior. Oh, look at Big Boy. Big Boy got an alien.
Oh, nice. That is a good one. Like aliens and rabbit ears. Those are two popular traits.
Hey, Big Boy. Big Boy. That's a really good PFP right there.
Mm-hmm. Green on green.
Yeah, I like that. Damn, that must be pretty rare actually. I don't even think I've seen a green background. Right, I don't even think I've seen a green back. Huh.
Oh, you got that one. Cool.
What's up, big boy? How you doing, brother?
Hey, man. Hey, I'm just getting along, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Join Easter, buddy.
That's yeah, the alien Easter bunny right now, dude. That's a pretty sick giraffe, dude.
You like them earrings?
Oh, dude, come
Oh,
on,
come on, dude.
it's doing it for me.
I, dude, I bought it just for the earrings, bro.
Dude, I have never seen one like that. When did you just not buy that, or did you get it a
No,
while ago?
no, I had it for a little bit.
Damn, I really have never seen a green background. I don't know why it's really standing out to me, but I haven't. I have an alien. I'm gonna go look at mine right now. Look at the difference. That one looks so different to me. Yeah, by the way, guys, tweet out the space for us. And, we haven't had a sell, so we need a sell, just so everyone knows. Okay, you know what? I think, yeah, I see a green background here that I have. I think it's just the fact that it's green and green that it's messing with my head. Yeah, I do. I have a green background. Okay.
when I figured out the issue with the raffle stuff,
Oh,
it was
what is
it
it?
it was a thing. I had to reach out to Helio and talk to their support. Apparently,
So
they
it's okay. So it's all fixed.
well, it has to be done differently. They don't actually have like a way that you could take immediate payment in their raffle setting, so you have to just take payments separately. It's kind of stupid, but you can still use it as like a way to collect the wallet addresses. But I'm gonna have to rethink the way that I'll do a raffle in the future. But I'm gonna get through this one, and but I'll have to rethink it and try and figure out a better way to do it that's cleaner for other people. It's not a pain in the butt. Uh, I think this time I may just have people send the point 0.5 Solana to a particular wallet address, and if I receive that, that wallet address is entered. That's the way I think I'm probably going to do it this time.
Right.
Super like that can't be faked. He's
Yep.
he sent
Yep.
whatever wallet address you send me to. I'll create another post during the space just to update the other one, since that's the new way. I'm just going to do this. Just accept it that way.
Sounds good.
Yep. And we got two people, two paid entries so far. So
Wait, there's only two?
there was four that entered, but two that I haven't actually that were entered the wrong way that I had before. It's on me because it didn't work.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I have two other people that entered that said they wanted to be, but I have to figure out how to get back in contact with them because it didn't give me the. I guess I could email them and see if they're still interested. I have their email address. I'll do that.
So you know what? I'm looking right now, and I see why the green background looks so crazy to me. There's very few of them
Mm-hmm.
that are for sale.
You just don't see them, huh?
Yeah, you just don't really see them.
Do I have any green back? I must have some green backgrounds.
It's called Emerald, and like the ones that are for sale, like there's two for 33 soul, one for 28 soul,
Is that the same green back?
23
I
soul,
do have.
14.
I have one green background there with a reptile skin. Do I have any more green? I have a green background with a Santa hat. Do I have any more? Do I have two?
Oh, look,
Okay,
one's got like a
okay.
Gary mask.
I might have a shitload of green backgrounds. You're right. They're just not listed.
They're just not really listed.
I actually have quite a few green backgrounds.
I mean, it's not even that really rare. It's a
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
7%.
It's like if it is rare, then I have them all. I actually do have quite a few. Green background. Oh, that sexy alien right there with that mustache.
Yeah, I know you see the alien one. You know what it is? It's like they have the ones that have green backgrounds that are for sale, like have like strange traits.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
you see
like,
that one
let's see.
that's got like a Gary mask. One's got that like hoodie.
By the way, the Gary masks are actually more rare than the regular masks.
I
You
know,
know.
I know. The Gary masks are a super rare trait.
Mm-hmm.
That one that's for sale right there for 12 is actually quite a pickup.
Mm-hmm. I think I have a few of those, or at least one.
Yeah,
Multiple.
there's only three of them that are for sale.
I have one pink Gary mask. I think that's
Oh, like with pink fur, you mean?
pink fur with wearing a Gary mask. I don't think I have any.
Is it an angel?
No, no.
I see that one.
Is it pink fur? Let me go back. Pink fur wearing Gary mask.
Yeah, there's one with pink fur, Gary mask,
No,
and like
it's just a clean blonde pink fur wearing a Gary mask with like squinted eyes.
oh, and it's blonde too. You've got a lot of those blonde guys.
I got a lot of all kinds of hair colors. Just blonde is the one of the bestest colors for hairs.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
The bestest. You
It's
know,
the bestest.
your hair
Oh,
never
there you
gets
go. I
your
see
your hair
yours.
never gets lighter. It just
Yeah, yours is what is it? 3905.
for my giraffe. Let me
Your
check.
pink fur, yeah,
Let me check.
with the mask and the blonde.
Sorry, I'm scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. There it is. I found it. Yeah, 3905.
Yeah, that's a good one there.
Sell for 4.99. No, thank you.
I know, no thank you. I was just looking at that too, and you bought it for 0.013. Wow. Jeez. Fuck me, man. Like even if you had sold that to like where I bought mine at like 0.44, that's still like a god dang, what is that?
There's a few that are like that.
Point what is god dang, I need to do the math on that because even that's quite the X. Let's see.
I'm like that person that procrastinates.
That's a 33X.
I could tell you that I probably missed a
Shit.
few pumps over the years because I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to sell any of these. But those people that took advantage of those pumps, they're going like, they're the ones that are saying, yeah, I still got 20, out that had like the big bag, the whale bags. But
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like where you bought that versus like where like I bought the one that I'm
oh,
wearing.
oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah,
33X, dude.
yeah. I know, yeah. Mhm.
It's fucking crazy. That's insane.
Mhm.
Almost it's 33.8X.
And
God
and
dang.
the
Yeah,
thing is
you
that
and JJ have like in Gino, it's like you guys have somewhere they're just ridiculous at this price. Where like what is that right now? Hold on. Let's see what that is right now. I'm just curious to see. So at a 7.2 divided by 0.013. Holy fuck. It's a 553.85. So just call it 554X. God dang, dude. That's insane. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Good job. Well done. Well done.
and the point is that I knew it was coming, and people got shaken out. There were people that had bigger bags than me for draft, and I chose not to sell when other people chose to liquidate. And now they have whatever you know car payment that they got out of it, and I have you know more
Exactly,
because
dude.
I chose
It's
to wait. But like every opportunity means that you are going to, like, I'll just be perfectly honest. Like when you jump on opportunities, it's very likely that you are actually going to stop yourself from taking another opportunity. But this opportunity, you got to decide which ones you take. That's why, like, what's going on with the stacker age and all those things. Those are the opportunities that I have been pushing for. Like, those are the ones that I want. I don't want the small little win because, I mean, I'll take the small little wins, but not if it's going to affect, you know, the rest of my life's like passive income and time freedom. But that's why I got into Web3. I wanted time freedom. I wanted passive income. That's why, like, just like you're in like liquidity pools. That
yep,
I'm I'm not the kind of person that wants to sit, like Gary says, wants to sit in front of a screen all day and just like stare at charts and wait until there's an opportunity. Now I get that there's opportunity there, but that's not. I want to be able to be the one that just says like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go hang out with Joe today. I have nothing else going on. Blah blah blah. Let's go hang out. Or I want to go. I want to go to Colorado and hang out at the zoo. Like that's like any of those things on a whim. That's what I'm pushing for. Now, if you get your quick win, power to you. That's great. But I want something that changes my life now, even more so than it already has been. And I also want something that's going to change like my family's life for the rest of for generations and create generational wealth. That's good because the thing is, like, all what it takes is one generation to shift that in your brain and actually get you to. There's nothing different between you and the person that has a golden spoon in their mouth. Nothing except that they were taught differently and they actually had different opportunities. So now they're going to have those opportunities given to your lineage and your family as time goes on, and it's going to change everything. You're changing like history in the moment, like all history, because all those people are going to have opportunities that, because of what we're doing right now, like it's going to affect all of them, rip like the butterfly effect throughout history. And
totally.
mhm.
Totally.
like it was kind of funny. Like I was looking at a there's this person that I watch on YouTube, and it's like a it's like he is animated animate like he reviews animated content, and he's just smart assy enough that I vibe, you know. Um,
Right.
but there was a post that he put out the other day. He's like, you know what? I should just quit the YouTube stuff and start like an animation studio. And like my thought was like, that's the kind of things that like spark in my mind now. I go like, this person that I've been following a long time wants to create. What this does, like Stacker, it gives me the opportunity to go and, like as JJ would put it, bless other people. Like think about that. Like how many people can you go and like make their dreams come true? And I look at them as investments, you know. Like these are all different opportunities that are going to present ourselves with, that maybe different one for you guys, but that's the kind of thing that I'm like, oh, I was never in a position earlier in life to be able to even entertain the thought about like going, oh, I'll invest in some animation company, you know, just on a whim. Like those are the things that all of us are going to actually have uh, at our, at our disposal that we never would have had before. You know what I mean?
Yep. Totally. Totally, man.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that with you 100%.
Yep. And the thought that originally was like, oh, start my own studio, but always another option would always be, hey, invest in other people's. And I say studio, you could say whatever you want. JJ could be a real estate empire, you know, whatever. Yep.
Everybody unmic and say happy Easter to Andrea right now.
Happy Easter. Well, come on, guys.
Come on, unmic
Well,
right
there's only
now.
two
Happy Easter
Easter.
to Andrea.
Right, and big boy.
Happy
Happy
She has to
Easter.
put up with
Easter.
me being on these calls all the time.
Everyone.
Happy
Happy
Easter.
Easter.
Aw.
She's like so nervous right now. I just want you guys to know she is not like I am. She's
Hey,
shy.
you already know one of us. This is Dunk, Jonathan.
Oh yeah, that's Dunk right there.
I don't.
What's up? What's up, Jilly? What's up, Christian? Bearded? JJ?
Osama,
Alma's down there. Sleepy
Sleeping
Squirrel.
Squirrel, Papa
Anaya.
Evan. I like Papa Evan's picture right there.
Dr. Power.
Jilly.
Zazzy.
Wait, Dr. Power's in here? I don't see Dr. Power.
Power. That's
Oh,
Dr. Power.
Stacker. You're
Dr.
talking about
Power is
Stalker.
Dr. Power.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh. God, I'm slow. I am so slow. Stacker Power is Dr. Power. Got it. Oh, I even see the doctor. Okay. Wow. Boy, am I incredibly slow.
Did you think
Okay.
those were two people for the
Yeah. Yep, I did. Jeez. Wow. You know, even with Christian, it took me a while to realize that his like other account, you know, like his young account, it didn't like fully click with me. You know, the guy that I call Young Woo all the time, and then he like makes a young account. I'm like, who the hell's this young guy? You got to bear with me, guys. It's called goldfish brain. I suffer from it. Just bear with me.
It's okay.
Yeah. You want to get in? You want to get into some like real deep, hardcore physics? We can go there. We can do that. I'll do that with you. But something like Stacker Power and Doctor Power, that's just gonna tie my brain in a knot.
Well, I think it's trying to get that stacker word out there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I
Boy.
love it.
Easter.
Yeah, I must be somewhere on the spectrum or something. I must be like one of those
Oh,
people who's like, couldn't learn how to like tie it's like the basic things that really just tie me in a pretzel.
you don't need to be on the spectrum to
No, I know. I'm just saying, it's like
to
one
not.
of those. I'm definitely not, but I'm just saying it's like
Well, I
one of
mean,
those
dude, man,
weird things. Like,
you probably are. In all honesty, I probably am too. I've never been tested or anything, but come on, like, think about it. We wouldn't be here right now if we weren't somewhere on there.
oh well, that just means we're weird. We just like to buy digital money and pictures and JPEGs, right?
Yeah.
So that just means you're a weird person, or I did too much hippie lettuce,
What
like
they say,
Pierre
like
does.
1/3 of the human population is on that the spectrum. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were.
In a way, I guess everyone is, right?
Yeah, yeah. So not ashamed if I am. It's what it is.
Part of it too is I think it's almost like the narcissism of small differences. I really do think that that's a big part of it too. I think because there's definitely people who are very strange, very out there, definitely have something very diagnosable,
Hmm.
to be sure, to be sure. But then there's people who I think just want to have something to especially I've noticed in like my daughter's generation, like they like I almost don't even know how to explain this unless you've seen it,
Hmm.
but it's definitely something in Gen Z where like they almost like want to have something like
Wrong.
yeah, like because it's almost like gives them like status in their peer group, like oh god, I don't even know how to really like describe. It's so strange,
It
like they'll
it
all
makes
kind of sit
sense.
around and like but it's weird. It's done in a weird way. It's done again. It's like the narcissism of small differences, where it's like like I'll hear it when they're all here at my house and they're all kind of talking, like her and all their friends. It'll be something like, "Oh, well, you think that's well? I put so much pepper on my. I just have to have so much pepper. I don't know. That's just me. I'm so weird." And it I don't know how to you'd have to hear it. You'd have to hear it, but it's like this
It's pepper.
yeah,
My
yeah. I mean, I'm just using that as an example, and it's not even that good
my
of an example.
my
You'd
niece
have to hear it.
my niece will come up to me and she'll like she's honestly like she's probably a little bit on the spectrum too, but she'll come up to me and she'll say something like, "I'm weird," and I say, "Good." That's my reply.
Right,
I
right.
say, "Good." She's like, "I'm weird." Good. And then because whenever I like if I'm like waving, I'll do like the Star Trek "Live Long and Prosper" sign, and then she'll say, "Hi, nerd," like instead of high five.
Sure.
So
That's
I've got
definitely
her.
touching on it. That's definitely touching on what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's definitely, yeah, that's
yeah.
definitely,
It's like things that they'll say, but it's like,
yeah.
yeah, uh,
But there's like another level of it, is what I'm saying. There's like another level of it where like where there's like more than just wanting to be weird, where it's almost like, well, they'll like kind of put it on, and again, like where I could almost see somebody like in its truest, most like mentally ill form
hmm.
would be somebody like pretending to be OCD or something. You,
I don't have to pretend.
well, you just are, yeah. You just are, and you like make bombs in the basement and stuff. We all
In the
know that
basement.
here. You're a unique individual, Dunk, to put it in a nice way. You're very unique. Um, Anyway, you'd have. I mean, I guess you probably see it a little bit with your, niece and stuff, but I don't really know how to quite articulate what I'm trying to say here. But if you've been around, oh shit, sprinklers is turning on. Fuck, standing on the grass and the sprinklers just turned on. Damn it.
At least you didn't have your whole YouTube set up on the grass. Yeah.
God, yeah, I just got my socks wet though. It's nothing worse than a wet sock. Damn it. Nothing worse than a wet
Oh,
sock.
you were wearing no shoes
Yes.
and socks on the grass.
No, I was wearing my slippers. Damn it. Why does she have it set to go off right now? Why would you set it to go off at 11:30?
That's actually a good question. You want it to go off in the middle of the night when
I know.
when
The
there's
other
no
11:30.
sun to melt everything away.
Guarantee you she did that just and I bet you she's laughing her ass off right now. She did that to me.
Definitely intentional.
Yeah, that was definitely intentional. Oh my god. That was a good one. That was a good one. Definitely, yeah, that was a good one. She just drove off. That was smart. Good job. Touche, Andrea. Good job. Good job. Yeah, that was a good one. I'll get her back. That was good when I'm talking to everybody too. Oh, you got to give credit where credit's due. That was very smart. That was really good. God dang, man. I'm right. I was right in the middle of the grass too. Oh, man, you're gonna have to give me a second. I'm gonna have to go change my socks.
Okay.
Come on, Oatmeal, get out of there. Come on. Now the dog's wet. Dunk, you're gonna have to entertain everybody for a little bit.
Like gags, right? Like I should start like telling jokes and stuff. I'm really good at it. I tell a lot of jokes.
Oh yeah, you're great. You're the best at that.
Like
Just do that for like 5 more minutes.
like, why did the chicken cross the road? And you say, like, or like, why did the chicken cross the road? And then I say, then they go like, oh, to get to the other side, and I'm like, no. And I say, because the Chinese newspaper was on the other side. And then
Okay, you just lost your privileges,
no,
right?
and
Can you
then
keep the crowd going for a little bit? I need to go
and then
change
they
my socks.
then they go uh, and then you say, hey, do you get it? And then they go like, no. And then I say, neither do I. I get the LA Times. Oh my God. This, like, everybody could laugh now. It's so good. It's like, trust me, it's a really good joke, because you see, the joke is that they get the LA Times instead of the Chinese newspaper. But they were like asking if it was a joke. And jokes are always better when you explain them, by the way. They are always better when you have to explain them to people. Trust me. What do you think, Reich? Or can you nod on Mike?
I agree. Then Jillian threw a couple
I know.
emojis down there.
I think, like, the thing is, I work on all my I don't have the dad jokes, but I have the uncle jokes. And the thing about the uncle jokes is they could actually be way worse if I want them to be, because I could just leave. Like, if you're a dad, you can't just, like, the kid's gonna go to the next room, right? Me, I just get in my car and go home. I could tell all the bad jokes I want all day, no repercussions, 0. It's great.
That's true.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I like I do have a lot of like really lame jokes. I'm not claiming to be a comedian.
I need to study up on some jokes. I don't know many.
I do know how to go up to like a kid and make it look like my thumb is coming off, and they get really amazed. That's something. Like, they are really amazed. Cool. Okay. Actually, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm getting back. Helio's getting back to me. There might be another solution. Sweet.
How many tickets have you sold?
Well, we've technically sold 4. Jillian is one of them down there, but only taken payment for 2 of them out of the 22, just because there was I guess it was set up differently, and they're going to help me set up a different one. So I'm talking to Helio right now to just fix the ticket. But anybody that submitted and paid, I'm still going to count them. Sweet. And then I'll do a spin the wheel on my live stream, because that's all fair. Cool. What else we got going on today? What time is it for you, Reich?
Like 1:40
PM, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's 11:40 here. So you're 2 hours. Is that Mountain Time?
I'm
That's
Central Time. Yeah,
Central Time. I'm flipping. That's right. Mountain Time's first. What am I thinking?
Yeah, I gotta leave in like 30 minutes to go to work, but.
Oh yeah? What's the day job?
I just work at a bar and grill.
There's nothing wrong with that, dude. Man, bar paid my way through college. That waste of paper, that I got for.
Yeah.
But no. If you're gonna go for like a tip job, restaurant, bar, that's kind of the one to do.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
What kind of food do they serve?
Like burgers and just like
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
so like proper pub type food. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I was an asshole bartender when I served through college and stuff. So I would be that guy.
It gets to there some nights, but
Yeah. Are you bartending?
no. I just
Serving?
serve tables and stuff, but
I
sometimes some people just get me angry.
yeah. It, I get it, but it's like I would always just brush it off and go like, you guys want to you want to know who's the line between you and your booze, between you and your food. It's like I never understood somebody that would be rude to somebody that's handling their food. It's just beyond me. Beyond. Why would you do that? Like that person's literally handling something that you're gonna eat, and you're treating them like, come on, guys, seriously, because use your brain. Not saying that I ever did anything to anybody's food. I'm just saying, like, come on, think about it. Like logic.
Yeah,
I
I
would cut
haven't
people.
just because I know I would be so like upset if somebody did that to me. But
Mm-hmm.
there's some people. Oh, I've thought about it for sure.
Yep. I once carded this guy. He was like 45, and he was with his family, and he's all like, "Oh, like he asked for his drink, and he was acting like he was a child. So I carded him, and his family's like, "Are you really carding him?" He's like, "He's acting like he's a kid. So how do I know? How do I know?" So I
That's a
carded
good
him.
one. That's a good one.
Let me see it.
Dunk, you were probably insufferable as a bartender.
Oh man, yeah, I would bring people water when they ordered Coors Light. It was great.
Well, I like that. I
Yeah,
approve of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Coors or Bud Light. I'm like, and I worked in a microbrew, like with high quality like microbrewed beers, like Left Coast, right, Joe? I
Mm-hmm.
it it was Left Coast beer. Left Coast, it's the same company.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah.
all, mm-hmm.
That's a
So
really good beer.
oh,
Yeah.
their beer is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of the like in all honesty, it's one of the best San Diego beers that, in my opinion, the company's like. There's a lot down there, but that's my
Are they the same
San
as
Clemente.
like okay. Yeah.
They brew in San Clemente.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, they went under that name because it was a restaurant that brewed their own beer, like on at their actual restaurant, and then eventually they expanded and they went to like one central place to
Kind of like
brew.
BJ's type
Yeah,
thing.
just like
Yeah.
BJ's, where like BJ's would brew it there. But yeah, I'd work at a place like that, so there was always good height. There was even light, like low calorie, microbrewed beers that we had that were Left Coast. And when people would order, I'm like, there's no excuse for you to order a Coors Light. We have low calorie craft beer here. There's
I
no
love you like
excuse.
get all like offended by that. I love it.
Yeah, it's like no. So like, here's your water. And then what are they gonna do? I'm the bartender, so it's like, what are they gonna complain to the bartender that the bartender's not serving them? I'm literally the last line of defense. So it's like, and then some of those people that would like, if they were ever dicks to me, I would go and they would go and try and serve from another like order from a server or something. I'm like, I'm not pouring this. I'm like, you can't fool me. I know better than I know what you're doing. That person's cut off.
God, yeah, like I said, you'd be insufferable, of course. You probably cost that company so much money, dude.
Nah, but at the same time, if there was a miss pour, and you were somebody that would come in and be nice, whatever, be one of my one of the people that would come in and be a good patron at the restaurant. I would I'd have a
I
miss
love it. And like
pour.
and you're the ultimate authority on that. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
am. And you'd be like, so I get like a miss pour, and I knew people like, oh, it's 4 o'clock. This person comes in like clockwork. So I'd be like, I'll put this in the fridge, and when they come, I'll just drop this in front of them, and I say, this one's on the house.
I will say this for the short time that I worked at a restaurant, you definitely get those people where it's like they're gonna be there every day at 6 or
Like
whatever. Yeah,
clockwork.
yeah,
And they order the
yeah.
same thing too. They'll order the same type of beer, the same amount even.
To where you can just kind of like have their food ready. You can
Mm-hmm.
have have their whole thing ready, and
There was this one couple that would come in. They're very well off. He let's just say he was a bookie. So He had
My kind of
fluctuate,
guy.
huh? Yeah.
My
So
kind of guy.
he would
Yeah.
it would his income, let's just say during different times of the year, would skyrocket, and I'm sure you
Sure.
understand why.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, he was a bookie, and he would come in, and all he wanted was, I think he would drink like an amber ale. I think it was whatever he got every single time. I don't even remember what he ordered. And his wife, he was like a really, really big guy, and his wife was like a twig. So it's like that parallel. And she would always order like one drink that was insanely strong, and he would drink like several pitchers of beer. Just it's like, but every time they would come in, they would want like a Cadillac margarita, and they kept on adding more and more. Like, hey, could I get a little bit more Grand Marnier in that, just a little bit more? And eventually, it just became liquor, one ice cube, and Grand Marnier, and that was it. And I'm like, and
It just turned into
it
that.
just turned into a glass of booze, with almost pure booze with a cube of ice, and we didn't care because they would tip like $100 every time. So it would be like, cool, sure, I'll make you a really strong drink for your wife, and you give me that $100 bill every
Right.
day.
Right. That was just the agreement. Yeah.
It's like, I will do whatever, like I'll make your drink however you want. And every bartender that would be there, like they'd be like, we'll make it however they ask. We don't care. We'll make whatever drink they want and just charge up the Cadillac.
I had a, so like I had a guy, and it was actually really cool because I was clearly struggling. Like I had so many tables, and I was just like, to anyone sitting down, I was clearly struggling, and even to the point to where like a table or two were starting to be kind of a, kind of a dick,
Hmm.
like, well, I waited, thanks, and it was just, there's just nothing I could do. I had so many tables that, like, by the time I came back, someone would want something. I'd have to run, run to the back, come up, it was just it is what it just was what it was.
Yeah, I think that
No way to.
they shouldn't seat people until there's
Right. Well, that was
that's
the
like, I
thing.
think
Like
that's
I
the
just
mistake of
kept
a lot of
getting seated.
restaurants. They'll seat, like, there's a bunch of people waiting up front, and then they'll seat them. They're like, oh, but they're waiting up front. I'm like, yeah, but now they're
Well,
sitting
now
at
they're
a
gonna wait
table,
at the
and they want to be
table. Yeah.
served once they're sat.
Right. Right.
So you
Well,
just
and anyway, listen to this, dude. So that was definitely the case. So like, I was getting a couple heat, and there was this one table where they didn't say anything, but I could kind of like feel their energy, and I was just like, fuck, like I'm, just thinking to myself, like, fuck, I'm totally falling behind with these people. And, just did what I could to like get stuff out, try to,
Mhm.
even in the back, like they're struggling, there's just too much happening, and just, cooks can only get stuff going so quick and whatnot. Anyway, by the time it was all done, this guy left me $200
Mhm.
and like wrote a little note, it was like, so I'll never forget this, and he was just like, thank you so much for your great service. And it was like awful service, actually. It was actually awful.
You
And,
gave what you were able to, the best that you were able to.
but it was the coolest thing in the
Yeah.
world,
Mhm.
and we're just like, wow, something like I still remember that, and again, it was just, you know, fucking awesome of that guy. And, like I always think about that.
Mhm.
And whenever I go somewhere and like, it isn't the quickest or something, I'm always just like, yeah, cut the person some slack, they're doing what they can.
And don't forget, people, they got to cook your food. Like,
Right. No, there's people in the back and yeah, exactly. Like there's so much going on,
mhm.
like running a restaurant's no joke, man.
Oh yeah. Like when I that restaurant, they asked me to manage, and I'm like, no. And then they
Oh,
said,
no, thank
then
you.
they're like,
Yeah.
will you bartend? I'm like, yes. Like I
Well, and those
literally,
managers, they don't really make like those guys, especially like corporate restaurants, like they don't really make
they
that
don't
much
no,
money.
they I saw the ways the managers would work for, like, they'd be the first ones in the door and the last ones out, and they were
Yep.
paid a flat fee. I'm like, ooh.
Exactly. You don't get
But
tips. You don't get, yeah, it's like, fuck that.
well, sometimes
Fuck
the
that.
managers would be like, okay, manager will take like the bartending shift, but then you have a manager that's bartending. But and then
Oh,
you don't have a
man.
manager that could actually help you when you need it.
Right.
But I don't know. But that, hey, if anybody's listening, these are all things that we're trying to ever have to avoid, and not just trying, but actually we're gonna. It's soon. Like, it's crazy how soon this is. That we're, the thought of like our generation having to go do these things, and next generation, we don't. like the next generation won't have to actually do things like the restaurant. Like I know there's always going to be that human factor in socializing and things like that. I don't think restaurants will always completely be taken over by like robots and AI and stuff like that.
No, no, no.
But
Well, in fact, that'll even become a niche market, right?
mhm,
Like that'll be the kind of market where they're like, "Hey, we don't use
yeah,
robots,"
exactly.
and like even and across all industries,
Mhm.
because there's always going to be people who,
Well, and not
well,
everybody's going to take advantage of the
maybe
opportunities that
not
are out there.
500 years from now, like when everyone's like been born into that world,
Hmm.
but at least for the next couple generations, there'll definitely be people who are like able to start, like when construction companies have robots, doing everything, there'll be a niche construction company that's like, oh no, we don't use robots, we use, human labor.
It's like the somebody with their Etsy shop. It's the same thing. Like that's
Yeah.
all. If you want to get something that's handmade, you go to
Yep.
Etsy, right? And you
Right.
get that love and care. But it's going to cost more.
You'll pay more.
You pay
Yeah.
more, but you know that some person went out there and they went and found
Did
all
this with their hands.
did this
Yeah.
with their hands. You buy the same thing from any of the other like bulk places, Amazon or anywhere else. And it's like you may get something similar, but it's not made with the same care. I'm like,
Yeah, totally. Totally. Well, you know what I got to say? I'm a little surprised how many people came here on Easter.
well, it
Surprised.
depends on the time zone, I guess. I mean, like for me, it's 11:50, but for a lot of people, it's probably later in their day and they're in between whatever family stuff and maybe dinner or whatever. So, or maybe they're doing anything else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, why don't y'all talk a little bit about how rich we're going to be? I just like to soak some of that in for a few minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I see you, Nancy.
What
I'm
what
bringing you up.
how rich do you want to be, big boy? Let me ask you that first.
Well, I mean, if it stacks, who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
just
I
Okay.
let
don't.
just let
It's not
just
just
let it
So you
rich or
flow.
want you want
wealthy.
that who gives a shit kind of money.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, let it stack, brother. Let it stack.
All right. How many giraffe do you have, big boy? Big boy?
Big boy said. By the way, I'm a recovering addict, so can we get off the alcohol stuff? But,
Oh
oh,
man, we're gonna Big Boy's
oh,
gonna end up out on the streets before he's gonna sell his
I
giraffes
mean,
and
damn, I could almost taste that shit, boys.
be living in a bottle here. Shit, guys, we got to watch out.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
careful, guys,
shit,
careful. I
we
mean,
get Big Boy back out on Skid Row. I feel you, Big Boy.
you
I
know what
feel
I'm
you, dude.
saying?
It's all good.
Yeah.
Game recognized, game, homie. Um, why do you think I talk about all this stuff so much, player? Come on, I get you. All right, let's move on to how wealthy we're gonna be, and let's not talk about mind altering substances anymore. Okay. All right, Dunk, Reich, move on now. Come on.
I think Nancy was trying to come up. I tried to accept her request, but it just said connecting.
I think she's just rugging. I saw that too. Come on up, Nancy, whenever you get a chance. Yeah, I think she was just rugging, Reich.
Poor Nancy.
All right, so
In spaces,
just to
they
let
rug
Big
whenever
Boy
you
know,
go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, whenever you try to help somebody up, I know they just
Yeah.
rug. It's just like it's really just a persistence thing to see how long you're going to keep trying. So if you keep trying, then you can get up here. So look, let's do that. Let's talk about how rich we're going to be because I actually like to talk about that too. Um, okay, let's see where we're at right now. We are in. Oh shit! I didn't realize it. Huh? I didn't realize the date today is actually Easter's on 420. How crazy! Sorry, big boy. That was a mistake. I wasn't trying to go there. I just literally realized that. So here we are at the end of April. Let's say what Gary had said as far as our deliverable schedule. Let's say that holds. So that would be like somewhere in June, July. Giraffes are getting their stackers. So you just got to hold on a couple more months. Couple more months, big boy. And then you will be, let's say you have 3 giraffe. Let's just say you have 3. I'm just going to play this out. I'm going to guess and I'm going to do a conservative guess, by the way. I'm going to guess a giraffe, by the time stackers are fully rolling out, where do you think they're going to be at, Dunk? What would you say? A conservative guess. Let's do
You
a
mean
very
you
conservative
once
guess.
the stackers roll out? I think at the very
Yeah,
beginning
like
we're
to
gonna be
giraffe.
the
To
giraffe, right? Like
giraffe.
yeah, yeah, to giraffe. Oh, to giraffe, and not from the to the 50. I think when the 50 go, it's gonna. I think that conservative 20 to 30 Solana.
That's what.
Conservative.
Okay, what I was gonna say was 40. So okay, so
I was trying to be super conservative and not, in my not overdo it. I'm just saying like at the very I was saying when the
so let
stacker when the 50
so
happened.
let's split the difference then, and
Hmm.
and you said 20 to 30. I said 40.
So let's say 30.
Let's say 30. Okay, so it'll be 30 Solana. What is? I don't even know how much is it sold right now. I think it's like one.
136 right now. Oop,
Okay,
we lost our pump. Oh well.
so what's 135 times 30? What is that?
135 times 30. 35. 135 times 30. It's 4,050.
Okay,
All
so and
$4,000.
we're gonna say that Big Buy has 3 giraffe. We don't know how many he has, but I know he at least has 2, and I'm assuming he has at least one more. Oh, and I
He's
think,
got a
oh yeah, Big
superhero.
Boy he has a stacker too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a superhero too. All right, so he's got a few. He's got a few. He's a big buy. So that means you have at least $15,000 worth. Let's just say you sell one of those because you're going to need the Gary. Now you've got 2 giraffe working for you, and of course you have your stacker. So I'm just going to do a little bit of quick math here. That means you would have 40, 30. So that means you would have 10 Sol in each of your wallets. I'm just going to say you sold one of them because you had 3 giraffe, you have your stacker. So each wallet now has 10 Solana in it. You just split it up. And I don't know why you would do that, because it would probably be better to just hold on to it. But again, this is all hypothetical. So you have 30 Solana working across 3 different giraffe for you every single day. And let's say I'm going to keep the transaction rate at 500 transaction per day. I like that because it's super, super conservative. And we're going to keep the win rate. Let's go really conservative with it. Let's say I've always said 10%, but let's go even more conservative. Let's just say 5%. So
I mean, the other day we even did 1% and it still turned out into a stupid number.
I know, but that's
Like,
almost being like too ridiculous. Like 1%'s being too ridiculous. So that's almost like too conservative. So let's just say 5%. 5%. Look, a decent human trader is doing 5% a day. Like a guy who's just good at trading can easily do 5%. So, I'm assuming AI will do better. So you've got 30 Sol. It's doing 5% per day. Let's see here. Make sure I've got these numbers correctly. Okay, 40, 50. Yep, that's right. Okay. So 40, 50 at, and we'll compound that daily for 60 days. Let's see what that does for you. Okay. Mhm, 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 mhm. Um, Oh no, we did that. Hold on, I did that a little wrong there. Let me change that.
it's
That
crazy how
makes
compound
sense.
interest works amazingly in both directions, right?
Oh, I know. It's amazing.
It could be your worst enemy or your best friend.
You turned the water on me, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Um, Okay, let's see. No. No. Yeah, you did. Okay, initial. God dang, why does this always do this to me? Go away. There we go. Uh, I know, right?
It's been a long time since I've watched Jeopardy.
I know. I haven't. I've only actually seen it since Alex Trebek.
Yeah,
You guys are the Tournament of
I miss
Champions.
all
There's
that.
Celebrity Jeopardy.
I
It's
wouldn't be
all
invited, I
happening.
guess.
I miss it.
Jeopardy.
I used to
Not
love
that
that
one.
show,
I'm
by the
not
way.
on that.
Okay, here we go. Bam. Okay. Wait, why is this doing this, idiot? No, that's not right. Ugh. This stupid thing is not
It's a
working here. Hold
compound
on.
interest calculator.
So, can we surmise that it's a really
It
big
is a
number?
really big number, Nancy, but I need it to be accurate.
I
I need
know.
I need the
Just filling the air.
Well,
If
that's
you
what
guys
Dunk's
got
supposed
serious
to
when I
do.
got on
Fill
stage,
the
That's
air.
what Dunk's supposed to do.
well,
I bet.
he brought me up to help
So
commandeer
go for it, Nancy.
the
Dunk,
air.
Dunk, do your job for once, Dunk, while I figure out the math here.
Go
Well, I'm
Phil.
trying to. Yeah. So yesterday's room was way fucking
It
fun,
was, wasn't it?
and I love you guys. And then all of a sudden, after I got a phone call from my sister, a phone call from my son, a phone call from the ex, I'm trying to give away coins every so often in the room. And then after like an hour, I said, "Oh, I totally rugged out of that room. Never showed up again. Never gave away that last 25 Gary
Ah,
that I said I was going to. So I will be, not today, not today, now, but I'm going to give it away in Bongman's and Long Neck Larry's room
awesome.
tonight.
Oh yeah, that's right, guys. Make sure you go to that tonight.
So I'm going to, for somebody live in the room, I'm going to pass forward the last 25 Gary. And well, as a matter of fact, I might even have a little bit more because Sebastian, who was played the guitar yesterday and was singing me happy
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
birthday, I said, "You are the winner of the next 20." This huge long dissertation in the DMs stating how drunk he was, how high he
I know
was,
that was so
and
funny.
that, oh my God, and that he could not take my Gary from me on my birthday, and we're all winners, and it went on and on and on. I love you, man. And it was hysterical. So I never sent him his 20. So I'll probably pass that along tonight too. Oh jeez, it was so funny. He was so cute. Mr. Germany, I called him.
Oh my god. You know what? So you know what's bugging me is see I'm trying to find a calculator. So all these like calculators that you have on here, they're all meant to try to sell you into like a stupid annuity or something. And so it won't let you actually do the right type of compounding. Because the thing is like the way we compound is at X time because we're going to take earnings and they'll go into your wallet and compound at that very moment. So it's not like a normal. So like if you have like an IRA or something, right? They'll do compound interest like at best daily, probably not. Um so maybe second best weekly, again probably not. It's probably on a monthly basis or even worse annually or quarterly. So like that's the way all these stupid calculators work. And that's not how it will work with a stacker agent. Because with a stacker agent, it's going to be you'll you'll put money in, right? And let's say let's say you gained 10% like I did the other day in 35 minutes. and then you're out of that trade. Well, now that 10% is part of your principal. So you're compounding in real time,
Hmm.
right? So I'm trying to find a calculator that does that, but none of them do that. So like I can't get like a proper result on what I'm trying to do because everything is like
It's
compound it daily or compound it weekly, and it's like
Yep. You
that
can't.
isn't how a stacker works. So like a stacker is actually going to be much higher than the results I'm
Exactly.
getting right here, which is pissing me off. So anyway, to get back to what Big Boy wants, this is why I always just go with my little 10% example because it's easy for me to run that upstairs. But it's even better than that because what I'm assuming there is at a fixed period, right? Like a fixed period of time when that actually isn't the case because some days you're going to hit your 10% mark
Someday you'll
in
do
30
even better.
seconds. Yeah, exactly. So it'll be, there'll actually be a day where you hit, 15%. Look, I did this the other day and posted it, right? I hit basically 15, it was like 14.7% in 35 minutes. So you're gonna have a day where you do that, and then you've still got 23 hours and 25 minutes of the day left to stack more gains. And so now you're you're compounding at a rate of every 35 minutes at that point, right? So um I'm trying to like show how it would calculate in real time. I can't find that kind of calculator here, though. The math is too complex, I guess, or whatever. So anyway, bottom line is this is why I just stick with my little 10% guy because it's easier to run it that way. And but again, using Big Boy's example, I'm starting us off at $4,050 and having that split up across three stackers. So saying you have 10 soul, spread, you have one stacker with 10 soul, two stackers with 10, three with 10, so you've got 30 total, and and that's a starting point of $4,050 roughly, and across three different individuals. And again, you're going to probably configure those a little bit differently. Probably going to configure one to be super aggressive, one to be a little more conservative, and then have like your third one, you know, your like actual superhero one that isn't getting fees. Maybe you do something different with that one. I know I'm going to do that, make a bunch of different configurations, and then just have a couple that are super super aggressive and just swinging for the fences, and then whatever, just kind of see what happens and tweak things as time goes by. But again, just like assuming a steady rate of return of just saying like you're doing somewhere between 5 to 15% daily. mm, Starting off with money like that, Big Boy, you yourself, and I'm sure I'm very conservative on what I'm guessing here, just because I'm going off of what I've seen put up your own superhero, and you're not spending money on booze anymore, so that's probably being saved up too. I'm guessing you have a lot more than what I'm starting you off at. But just saying you start off with that 30 soul and three different agents, dude, you would be using my example that I always do of a 10%, um, a 10% win rate. If you start off with that, you yourself, sir, will be a millionaire on like day 32. I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. So like, or at least right around there. So if you just ran with numbers like that, you're you're turning in your 2 week notice probably a little bit sooner than that. I'm assuming you're going to wake up one day and look at your balances and say, I don't really feel like going into work today. Let me see what my stackers have done. Oh, okay, I have $700,000 here. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna go back to sleep, flip your pillow over, go to the cool side of the pillow, and just go back to sleep. That's what I assume you'll do. So that's probably not too far off in your future, big boy. How's that doing for you? How does that sit?
Great, dude. Excellent
Okay,
job, Joe. Excellent job.
there you go. There you go. I got us back on track for you there,
Joe,
bud.
I just did like a simple, like, I know it's not throughout the day, but 10% compounded, saying like $136, one Solana.
Right, right,
If
right.
you compounded daily at 10%, say it's 10%. So for 3 months, if you compounded that one Solana at 10%, it would be 813,994 dollars.
But it's
Uh,
actually higher than that, is
yeah,
what I'm saying. Yeah, you
yeah.
follow me,
I'm
right?
just
Yeah,
saying, like,
yeah,
I'm being super conservative. I'm just
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's without multiple compounding throughout the day and everything like that, and that's
Right,
assuming that it's just getting 10%. But so my point is that that's that's just a 3 month period right there, and
right,
that's assuming I
right.
just started with one
Well, again,
Solana.
that's why I always say when I give that example, I always say it like day, like 105. So like 3.5 months, you're a millionaire.
Hmm.
It's actually probably a little bit less than that, um, but yes, exactly. And the thing is, I hope I'm explaining that well and not and like making sense that we're not actually compounding at a daily rate. We're compounding at like at a variable rate, and within the day. So it's really more like compounding. You could say, I don't know, 30 minutes or hour or something. And again, it's not always going to be 10%. So I guess the way we just account for that is just fine to say daily, because
Hmm.
sometimes you'll be throwing a loss in there. So I get it, but you know it it does it does ring true to me, especially with an agent, and me just kind of going through the exercise that I've gone through right now, like building my own agent and understanding like how it works under the hood a lot more, and like how the rankings work, and just like how it scores things and like how they think. um like I have a much greater understanding in the last 3 days of like what's going into an AI agent than I did before. Again, just by building my own. And oh man, I the way these things learn, and like they're just so much smarter than a human, just the way they learn. And like it's interesting to me like what's going to happen, because at this point I feel like the only variable for us to really like lose um in a trade, the only thing that after Stacker starts really learning and starts really like um you know fo- following patterns, recognizing the way the like cyclical tidal nature of money works, which it'll figure those things out rather quickly, like probably like within a day, and and then figure out like the daily cycle, the hourly cycle, the weekly cycle, and the cycles within cycles. It'll figure all that stuff out pretty quickly, actually. The only way you're going to be able to like really defeat Stacker to where it doesn't win in its trades is just going to be like the purely human things, like um when someone who like swings a big bag goes on Twitter and starts fudding a project, and that person has a lot of followers. That's going to be the kind of thing that Stacker can't account for, where it'll like have trouble figuring out what's going on right there. And I don't even know for how long though, because there's by the time we've created some kind of like sentiment agent, which is something I know Gary's working on, I don't even know how long that's even going to be a factor, because that'll end up getting accounted for and worked into the brain somehow, and ranked and scored in some way to where it kind of cancels it out. So what I'm saying is, as these things learn, and they learn incredibly well, you get to this point to where it's easy for me to see how it could have a very, very high success rate, like a very high success rate. And the only thing that's ever going to really trick it or, make it guess wrong is going to be these things that like these like outlier situations like we had. Remember the other week when somebody went on, God, I can't remember what protocol it was for. Um, damn it, I can't remember what protocol it was for. Anyway, I think what had happened is someone had like hacked into the corporate account and then sent a tweet out basically saying your guys' money is not safe.
And that caused people
And
to sell, right?
yeah, and everyone pulled all their money, and it was at a big protocol too. It was, fuck, I wish I could remember which one it was. Anyway, and yeah, everyone, and it was a total scam, because their money was safe, but these people were trying to scare people out so that the price would go down, and then they could just go buy the price, just go buy the token at the lower price, and then once everyone realized that that was a lie, everyone would buy their position back in, and then they would, like quadruple their money, which is what they did. Um, Stacker's not going to be able to account for something like that, right? That's like criminal behavior that is so random and variable. You can't really put that into, you can't put that into Python language and teach your AI. That is what I'm saying. So
Yet.
yet, yeah, exactly, yet, and right. But again, I'm sure that will end up getting accounted for somehow, some way. And again, just like me, just doing like the what I've done, and again, I doubt I'm even understanding the full magnitude of all this stuff because it's just all so new for me. And again, I'm doing it with like a whiskey, this thing that's gonna look at your profile and tell you, hey, here's your budget, here's the taste you like, I suggest you buy this bottle. Again, just like seeing how well this thing is doing that I've built, and the different iterations of it, and how like every 20 minutes this little thing that I built, it gets smarter and better and smarter. And then like an hour, uh, you take like any hour ahead, it's like an entirely new version. So like where my agent Bob is today compared to where Bob was like 2 days ago, it would be like the difference between, how would I put it? Like it would be like the difference between like 2 days ago Bob was a caterpillar, now he's a college professor. And I mean it. It's like like
Builds on itself.
that's like the jump of intelligence that my AI agent has made. And that's in 2 days. So now what's gonna happen 2 days from now? Like where's Bob gonna go when I talk to you guys on Tuesday? Like he's gonna, and again, it's actually gonna be even more because now he's more capable, if that makes sense. So when he was like going from caterpillar to college professor, wow, that was super impressive. But now when he goes from college professor to like wherever he goes from here in the next 2 days, it's actually going to be an even bigger jump because he's more capable at this point, and he learns quicker now than when he was in his caterpillar self. So it's going to make that first jump look like him going from a rock to a caterpillar, and then caterpillar to college professor. So it just gets more and more impressive as you go, is what I'm trying to say. And again, like I'm definitely not even grasping the significance of it all. I'm definitely not, because I'm still learning all this. So
Hey, but you started. That's more than most people do.
Yeah, sure, totally accept all that. But I'm just saying, like the way, like how smart these fucking things are. And again, like I'm talking about my little thing that I've built, using Chat GPT. Now let's compare that to whatever like Gary and his team are doing. It these are like different universes. So my belief in this thing, which I didn't think it could get any more solid, is like my conviction has gone up a lot in the last 72 hours, just because I myself have a better understanding of these things now than what I had before. And you know it's really impressive. It's just it's like it's beyond science fiction, man. It's like this. I just can't believe, like, it just doesn't even seem like it should be possible. Like again, like the things I did last night with my stupid little agent, it was just like it just had me in like awe. It had me sitting at my table in awe. Like, how the fuck does this thing know how to do this shit? Like, how does it know how to do this? And it's like talking about different regions of Scotland just all these different. And like, what the fuck? Like, how is this thing able to do this? And like make these breakdowns that it's doing. And again, this is something that's been alive, or whatever we call. I don't. Has been awake for like 48 hours and has only been trained on a little data set of like uh basically like 500 different items, and each of those items having about 12 characteristics. So it's basically learned 6,000 things, you could say, right? And with those 6,000 things that it's been trained on, it's doing things that me as a grown man could not do. Yeah, I'm just saying right now, like I could not do it. If I had dedicated my life to learning the things that I taught Bob, I could not do what Bob has been able to do in 2 hours of being awake on my computer. He's not even um, he's on the internet like through my local network, but like he hasn't been deployed yet. So like what's going to happen when I deploy him and he's able to learn from Dunk and learn from Big Boy and JJ? Like that's going to be when I really get my mind blown. When I'm going to deploy him today too, and that's going to just be like a whole new thing because now he's going to be able to learn from more than just me. He'll be able to learn from everyone on the internet, and that's going to be like holy shit. Like I can't wait to see what happens. And all this stuff I keep referring, like thinking about the stacker agent, and just again just how much better that everything about it is, how much better the code is, how much better the people who are building it are than me. Again, like I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I have no clue what I'm doing. Gary and his team, they know what they're doing. And I'm sure, not building it in the way I'm building it by like asking Chat GPT, what do I do next? They're not doing that. They know what they're doing. So again, just the level of like just how impressive this stuff is and how much it's going to win. I guess what I'm trying to get at is I feel like it's going to get to a point to where it's almost like always right, where it's just always right. And the only time it's going to go wrong is when there's some kind of human behavior that you can't really account for. And that's also kind of like not true because there's like probabilities and statistical models that you can teach these things to where you can account for the human behavior. So it's not, I'm like saying it wrong actually. It's not so much that you can't account for these things. You can. It's what it is it's more of a matter of time of teaching them those human behaviors and teaching them those probabilities and statistical models and getting them trained up on it, which they're going to do, and they're going to do in real time. And the way they're going to do it is all with, it's going to be learning those things in regard, like, to price action, to chart movements on the blockchain. So it's going to learn how to teach itself human behavior through the eyes of price action, through the movements on a given chart on the Solana blockchain.
And talk to each other,
How fucking fascinating is
right?
that?
It's gonna learn from
You
each other.
know? Yeah, right. So I mean, it blows my mind, man. And again, it's only going to be, again, just me seeing what I'm finally starting to kind of wrap my head around, and like the way these things work. It'll be no time. It'll really be no time. It will have these 7,000 things kind of moving around the blockchain, analyzing all this stuff in real time. And I mean, like, how, where it is on its first day versus its seventh day, it's like it's going to be exponentially smarter. And then from its seventh day to, the beginning of its second month, again, the jumps that it makes minute by minute, day by day, is so big, because it's like you have to think about how capable you were when you were an infant, right? And then from, each day in your infancy, you do have these big breakthroughs, right, where you kind of learn how to walk or talk or something, but they're not like massive jumps and leaps. Well, imagine when your brain's a little more developed and you're in high school and you're able to start learning like single variable calculus, and now multiple variable calculus and number theory, and like, okay, now we're cooking here. Well, that's the way these agents work, like, from day one, right? Like that's their like opening. That's how they wake up. They're capable of that. And like with those capabilities, they start to grow at this, and learn at this exponential rate. And like where it's at on its second day versus its first day is just so vastly different. And it's so much smarter now, that like you would have never been able to get to that point that it's at, um just by sitting, like, just by sitting and trying to feed it code. Like, it had to go learn like a real brain learns. And like now it's just much more capable. Anyway, I'm rambling about it, but I hope I'm explaining this in a way that's making sense, and like it's getting you guys excited, because I'm like, as I've been learning this stuff the last few days, I'm getting way more bullish on. And I was already pretty, I was already bullish enough to, start a space and be here every single day to talk to you guys about it. Now I'm even more so, because it's like, just what I see now is, it's just so, it's really, it's just mind blowing how capable these things are. And like I say it all the time, like, my mouth's watering. I can't wait until I get my hands on one of these, and start playing with it.
And you end up understanding things when, even if you don't want to do it yourself. The same thing as like, we were talking about how the stacker agent will do things that you could do manually.
Right.
Um, th- there's a certain level of, um, that you should, like, I guess it's sort of like, even when I do like the video stuff, like, um, when I do a video, it's good that somebody would know how to edit before they ask somebody to edit, because then they wouldn't know if they're doing it right. So just getting your feet, even if you don't plan on doing it all the time, just understanding it and knowing how, what's going on under the hood, I think is an
Right.
insanely valuable thing to have, especially for somebody that's just trying to try to
Hmm.
understand it. So like everybody here, like I encourage you to go and actually do your best to understand these things, just because you'll actually get a better
Well,
benefit when it's automated.
for instance, I don't think I'm going to win this competition. Look, I'd be very happy. I need the money. It would be great. I hope I win it. But I'm not, I'm not putting my mind in a place where I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to win. But, it'd be cool if I did. Look, I'm working really hard on it. I'm putting a lot of effort in it. Um, like yesterday, I put another like 12 hours in. That's why I didn't do the stream with you, because I couldn't break away from it, Dunk. I just kept going until I just couldn't stay awake anymore. I stopped somewhere, I don't know, like
I get
three or
it.
four this morning. Yeah, I stopped. And just like I just kept going. Like once I got off the space yesterday, I just went until like 3 or 4 this morning, and just kept going at it, and till I just couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. And again, that's why I say like where I'm at with it now versus like when I started, even just in that 12-hour period, it's like it's it's already like gone from like V1 to V3, and it's just like so, like even when you like just look at like my code repository, like just the size of it now is i- like triple the memory size of what it was at the beginning. Just that alone, like, so like, even that alone just shows you like how, just like what you need space wise, just like space wise on a computer just to
Like
store
how
the
fast
code,
it grows.
it is triple. Yeah, yeah. Like think of like it's like like its brain basically has grown 3x in a 12-hour period, right? Like that's, I mean, in like real physical terms, that's the truth, right? So I mean, it's really like this thing that I've built here could really have the potential to where it like at some point like it needs to go like live on a server farm, because it's just gotten so like it's gotten so smart and grown so much, and it's just like it's too big to just live on my little laptop. It needs
Well, and you'll
more.
need that if other people want access to it anyway.
No, no, I know. I'm already like I'm all like that's the part I'm building right now. Actually, is that. Um, so I'm like getting it to where it can go like where it can make that jump now. Like that's the next part. So it's just fucking it's amazing. Really it's really worth everyone doing, because for me it's just upped my conviction with all this stuff a lot more. Because now, I had a certain understanding of this stuff before, but it's much better now. It's a much more technical understanding of how um, just how Stacker is going to work. And again, like I had an understanding before, but now it's much better now. It's much stronger now, and it's making me feel even more confident than I was before. And I just see how it's going to work. Like even at the beginning, like, so one thing I hope no one's taking away from this is like, oh, it's going to not work at the beginning. That's not what I'm saying at all. So I hope you're not taking that away. Um, it does get smarter as it you know time goes by and as it learns. But even at the beginning, like going from that like 0 to 1 second, it's still going to be fine and it's still going to work. And I would be more than happy to risk money with it at that point. Um, it's just going to get better and better and learn more and more skills as time goes. But even at the like opening sequence, it's still going to be fine. I almost don't even know how to really articulate this the right way, but I'll give it a shot. And I hope I don't just confuse people. But the when it starts, like when it's um the environment isn't ready for it. So like the blockchain and the traders who are there aren't going to be ready. Like the in a way it's almost like a new offense that there's no defense for yet, right? So once it starts and goes out onto the blockchain, there's just going to be this new kind of intelligence there that's just crushing it, and other traders are going to be there being like, holy shit, what, this thing's just killing me, right? It's going to, again, that's like the best way for me to put it. Like, there's going to be a new offense that there's no defense for yet, and sooner or later that will change, right? That, but so will Stacker. So once there's a defense, then Stacker will learn a new offense. And so it's just going to constantly be at this um like leading edge, and like constantly staying ahead of anything. And that's like the best terms I can put it in. That's not in a very technical sense correct, but it's a good analogy, is that it'll just constantly be learning it. So like a new defense will come up, will Stacker will change its offense, and now it'll be in a point again where there's no new defense for it. Then there will be a new defense. Well, Stacker will learn a new offense now. And it'll just constantly be doing that. Again, in a technical sense, that's not correct, but in an analogy sense, it is. That makes sense, Dunk? Big Boy says
Yeah,
100. Okay,
that
good.
it totally
Good,
makes
good.
sense.
Okay.
And the thing is that it's just going to constantly be like, I think that that's a good way to kind of explain it, because there's a difference between, it's not just a bot going out and doing things.
It's not a bot. Yeah, not at
it
all. Yeah.
it's it is a stacker, it's an agent, and I want to define the difference between some sort of bot doing something and an agent. They're not the same thing, not the same thing. So that needs to be like perfectly clear, that they the best way to describe an agent is almost like a use case, like you look at like a job, like you have a business, you don't have the same one person that does every single job there. You create a bundle of different employees that go out and do different things that they're experts at. That's the best way that I could describe an agent versus a
Yeah,
bot.
but even that is could still be put in terms of a bot where there's like a protocol for that. Like the way I
Hmm.
like to think of it is like a bot is a protocol, an agent is a brain. So like the agent can reason with itself and say like, okay, I'm looking at this trade right here, and it's reasoning with itself in real time, just like you do. Like just like you do when you're sitting and you're about to click, to execute a trade, you're taking in all these different signals, right? You're like, well, I just looked on X and people are super bullish on this thing, but look at that last 15-minute candle. Volume kind of dipped off. Yeah, but I just saw that influencer Bark, he posted that he's going to be buying a big bag of this stuff later on tonight. So like you're taking in all these different data points, right? You're like, you're reasoning. You're sitting there kind of weighing things out in your head in a very, very, very real way. That same exact process is happening on on the server that the agent lives on, where it's doing that same kind of reasoning, where it's like kind in the same way you do, by the way, right? Where like where you assign each one of those signals a certain weight. So like maybe to me it means a lot more that influencer Bark said he's going to buy some later on tonight. Maybe to Dunk that doesn't mean anything. He's like, yeah, I had an encounter with Bark like a year ago, and I don't like that guy. But to me, it's like, oh no, Bark is like, I follow this guy. I love everything he says. I own what are those bear things? I don't even know what they're called. I own, or not, you know what I'm talking, the Dogital or whatever, Dogital dogs or whatever. Um, I own some of those. Like I love that guy. I love that guy. And so like that has a certain weight to me, right? That has a certain like weight in my brain that I assign to that data point. Same exact thing that an agent does, where it'll say, look at the volume. The volume moved X amount. Well, it takes that data point, it takes that indicator and assigns like a weight to that. And once it gets to a certain point, just like in your brain, right? Just like in your brain, when you get to a certain point where you've assigned enough like weight to where wherever that line is, that once it gets crossed, you act. Same thing that happens with the agent. It's fucking fascinating. So like once the agent takes in all those indicators, just like you do before you act in anything in life, before you kiss the girl, before you buy the stock, before you buy the car, anything where you take in all these data points and you get certain indicators that make you act or not act in a certain way. These agents are doing the same thing, same exact thing. It's just one is happening in a flesh brain, the other is happening on a digital brain. It's the only difference. They they both run with the same energy field. They both have the same strong, weak magnetic forces. They both have the same fundamental particles and live in the same physical law guiding both of them. Just one is happening inside your head, another is happening inside of a brain that lives on a server. But essentially, materialistically, they're built and run and are governed by the same laws of physics. So, um, you know, that's a whole different realm to go in, which I won't get into. But you know that that's essentially what's happening with an agent and and a bot. Like a bot is just some lines of code that execute when somebody says, "Hey, bot, execute." And they can do some cool things to be sure, right? They can go do things, but at the end of the day, there's no thinking. There's no like ranking going on. Just like um when like when you're gonna go do something, whatever the something is, there's thinking that happens. There's like a ranking system that happens in your mind. That's what's going on with the agent. Whereas with the bot, it's just running through like lifelessly running through and thoughtlessly just running through this like mechanical process where it's like, okay, if this, then do that. Okay, well, if that, then do this and this or that. It's just it's a flow chart. Think of it like a flow chart. That's all it is, versus a thought process. I hope I explained that good. I'm
Good,
really
good.
not the right person to be
You
even
explained it
talking
well.
about this stuff.
You explained it well.
Um, but yeah, that's the difference between bot and agent. So, like Dunk goes crazy when people call this a project. I go crazy when people call Stacker Agent a bot because it's so um, it's just so it's you were talking the difference between like uh, you know a doorbell and a futuristic robot. Like uh, one thing like does a function, right? You press this thing and it makes a noise, and the other thing makes you like question, well, what is actual life? You know what I mean? Like one makes you question, okay, well, hold on a second, let's think about like what's the difference between that thought process and my thought process. So they're very, very different. They're very, very different. um we are not going to be playing around with a bot. There's bots right now. You can go, there's all kinds of Telegram bots and volume bots and buy and sell bots. Like in a way, even setting like, think of like setting like a stop loss. Like in a way, that's sort of just like what a bot is, right? Like, hey, this happens, then sell. Hey, this happens, then buy. Sort of like at the very like small level, what a bot's doing is you're just setting up you're just kind of setting up a signal for, if something happens, then take this action. That's really it. Whereas with Stacker Agent, it's none of that. It's looking at, just like you look at the real world and you take in all these indicators and processes and make a decision, that's what Stacker's doing. It's
Yeah, a
taking
bot's
in
just a
all
if
these
then
things
then
and
that
acting.
statement, right? Like
Yep,
bot.
that's it. That's it. Yeah. If then and or. That's it. End. Declare variables if then and or end. Over. You know, that's it. It's very, very, very um again at its like most purest form, it's just kind of simple logic. Um you know, there's things people do to make it seem a little bit more sexy and seem a little bit more complicated, but that's just bells and whistles. It's all that is. It's just, um, a car at the end of the day has been no different from 1920 to now. We just have air conditioning and a radio now. It's, well, now actually that's sort of changing with self-driving stuff, but you get what I mean. It's like at best, all they're doing is just adding little bells and whistles to it, but it's still just a bot. Anyway, that good enough for you, big boy?
Oh yeah, excellent job,
All
guys.
right, there we go.
Yep,
Okay, good.
I'm a happy boy.
We passed the big boy test.
That's a good one. And every week and month that goes by, I mean, that thing's just going to get smarter and smarter.
Oh yeah, man.
So
I know.
I mean, this time
It
next year,
really
there's no
is.
telling what it's going to.
Well, that's what I freak out on, man. That's like what I freak on out is like what the fuck's gonna happen in like 2 years?
So,
You know what I mean?
I'm like,
Like and I feel bad for people who think about the people who like right now are, they're just now kind of getting in the trenches. They finally just, for whatever reason, like finally have bought in and like, okay, all right, yeah, I'm gonna do this crypto thing. And they're just kind of learning just like we all did, just learning how to buy and sell and getting wrecked and top blasting and buying high, selling low, doing all the stuff we've all done and had to do. But they're just trying to train themselves. I'm sorry, but if you're in this game in 6 months trying to just go off your own brain power, nah, ain't gonna happen, man. Like the speed that things are moving at right now, and like how it, I'm convinced that this next little 9 month run, this next little the close of this cycle is going to be the last human led bull run ever. It might actually have already passed, depending on how fast things move. So like right now, it's still kind of up in the air. But let's just say like AI doesn't move. Let's say it moves at the speed I think it's going to move at. And again, I'm wrong all the time, so that means nothing. But let's just say it does. Then I think this will be the last human-led bull run. There won't be any more human-led bull cycles ever again. It'll all be AI led after this. So I think over the next 9 month period, roughly say like 9, 10, say like 310 to 280 days, somewhere in there, we're going to hit the all time high from the last Bitcoin halving. At least as long as we hold to historical precedents over the last 4, 8, and 12 years, then we will. As long as that holds. Now, there's no law that says that needs to hold. There's no rule, so maybe it doesn't hold, but I'm assuming that it will because everything else is lined up pretty perfectly, including this last little dip that we've lived through. So let's say it all lines up like it always does, or at least how it has in the last 2 cycles. Um, After that, humans don't run anything anymore. It's over. The brain power's done. It's all AI at that point, and and that's going to be interesting too to see what happens with people who think they swing a big enough bag to manipulate the market. Because here's the thing: you can trick me, like you can beat me at poker, right? You can sit down at a table with me, you can buy the pot from me, which that's basically what's happening if you think about it in crypto when people are manipulating the market. They're sitting down at the table with me, the flop happens, and they buy the pot. And then I capitulate. I fold, even though I had pocket aces. But I'm like, oh no, you know what? They must have had pocket kings, and I see that we just flopped a king. So, I'm out. That's pretty much what's happening, right? Well, what's gonna happen when you take Joe out of the equation and now it's just AI? And AI in a split second can go look at those people's wallets and be like, oh no, this guy's bluffing. He doesn't even have that kind of money. He just went all in with his bag right there. I have 10% more capital than him. Let's go in. He's trying to manipulate. Let's go scalp this motherfucker. Bam, done, over. Like, how do you manipulate that market? You don't. You can't. With me, sure, I'm not going to be able to figure out every wallet that's linked there. I can't like put together a picture of that other investor's net worth, right? He can make me capitulate. He can make me say, fuck, market's gone down to nothing. I'm going to sell. I'm out. I'm out. I'm going to just try to get whatever I can right now. AI agent will be able to call bullshit and be like, oh no, 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 no. I see what's going on here. I recognize this pattern. There's a 98% probability that this person's doing that. Like, how do you manipulate a market in that environment? It's a real question. I don't know if it's possible, or if you need to build some kind of, again, like this could be one of those defenses I'm talking about. Well, now you need to go build some AI model that has the main goal of manipulating a given security or a given coin, right? That's all I can really think of. You need to go build a new defense now against my offense. And now my offense is going to learn that, and it's going to adjust a little bit and say, oh, okay, I see you built that. No problem. I'll shift a little bit. I'll just move this over here. And now you need to build a new defense. Okay, well, I'll just shift over here now. I'll do 10% over here and 9 over here. Okay, done. So it's like, I don't think manipulating markets is really going to be a thing. At that point, the only real lever to pull is one where it's just a pure, like a pure volume play where you have to just kind of get into like you get into like a nuclear arms race, I guess, where you just have to both where everyone has to just start like really building a massive bag and deploying it at each other. That's like the only thing I can really think of in that environment. So um I maybe that's just something that's in the past. Maybe crypto markets being manipulated are just a thing of the past. And again, maybe I'm entirely wrong here, and it gets a million times worse. So don't put any faith in what I'm saying here, because there could be something I'm totally missing with all this. But it's something worth pondering. It's something worth thinking about and trying to like ideate on, because I don't think it's going to be possible. At least where I stand right now, I don't see how you're going to be able to pull the wool over AI's eyes like you can with me or Dunk or Gary or yourself, right? You're not going to be able to do that to a swarm of 7,500 agents that are living in real time, scrutinizing every single transaction that happens in real time. I can't do that. You could give me all of the transactions that happened in the last minute. It would take me the rest of my life to scrutinize what just happened in the last minute, and then I would die. We'd be 60 years in the future before I ever got to it, and that would be just me trying to scrutinize what happened in the last minute on the blockchain right now.
Sure.
So we'd be an entirely different decade by the time I got there. But an agent can do it in the snap of a finger.
True. Yeah, I just got in this in January, but I thought I was late to the party. And I'm like, been in it pretty hard this whole time with you guys. I haven't missed much of anything. If anything, I went back and replayed it and listened later if I had to. But I'm not late to the
No,
party. I'm not.
you're not late.
No, I'm not late at
No,
all.
you're
No.
early. You're early. Yeah.
And even if
Mm,
somebody came in now or next month,
still early. Yeah, still early.
they're still not late, bro. They're still not late.
There will be there is going to
A
be
point, yeah,
a demarcation point, though.
correct.
Yes, there is going to be a point where, and the only way to save you at that point is if you can quickly adapt and quickly put faith into the tech that's coming, because I think that right there is going to be the big hurdle for people, is trusting the tech. Because look, you have, at the end of the day, see, like, this is what people, like, in my real life, they always are like shocked that I've made this shift into crypto and stuff, because my whole life I've been the Luddite. I'm the guy going and breaking the weaving. You guys know who the Luddites were? The Luddites were people in the Industrial Revolution. They would go and they'd break all the weaving looms. They were like a group of people that saw the world industrializing and saw it as a bad thing. And they're probably right, by the way. But anyway, I always say I'm a Luddite. I don't, I've been slow to adopt technology into my life. Well, so it's always interesting. People in my life are always like, so how you quit construction and now you're just like a crypto guy? How did that happen? Well, I think people who don't do that are going to be absolutely screwed, especially if you want to play in the financial markets. So especially if you want to play in the money game, if you don't put faith into those things, you're just going to get left in the dust. And I think what'll happen is, like, that will end up being a big, um, like, that'll be a big factor. People who are able to kind of put the fear aside and put faith in some of these, like, pieces of tech are going to be the ones who come out on top. And I think there's going to be a massive hesitancy. So for people like us who have been living in this room for the last 3 months and have been slowly getting acclimated to the point of like, to the idea of letting this technology, that somebody whose hand I've never shook, someone who I've never looked in the eye, giving them control over my finances, and we slowly kind of get used to that idea, right? Like, I've never even heard Tessa's voice before, right? But here I am sitting in a room, slowly acclimating to this idea of letting his technology control m- me and my family's financial future. I don't even know what that guy looks like, so we're ahead of that
All
game,
right.
because there's going to be a lot of other people who go, well, I've never shook that guy's hand. I don't know what that guy looks like. I don't know what his voice sounds like. I don't know these people. I'm not going to let them build something and put my wealth in there. God, no. So then that will be the person that gets left behind. And they're going to say, well, I don't trust that. I don't know. No, I don't know what's going on there. Whereas the people who have been spending, the last 3 6 months in rooms like this, slowly warming up to the idea of, yeah, you know what? Not only am I going to trust it, I'm going to full port everything into it.
Hey Joe, those same
And-
people, they trust to put money in this random thing called a
yeah, I
bank,
know. Yeah, I
called a
know.
bank. These same people, they trust this thing called a bank that actually screws you over every chance they get. Like, and you do that by choice. Those same people that will be like,
You
oh,
know
I'm not
what?
sure.
I just had this with somebody. This guy, he's a neighbor of mine. He's an older guy. He's talking to me and he goes, "Yeah, but crypto, there's like nothing behind it though." And I go, "Oh, no, see, that's where you're wrong. I think you're confusing crypto with the United States dollar. The United States dollar, there's nothing behind. Crypto actually has quite a bit behind it. It has the most it has the most important resource behind it of all. It has energy behind it, right? Like the internet is run off energy from the sun. So it has the thing that powers the universe that underlies cryptocurrency. So basically, God underlies my currency. Your currency is underlined by faith in some weird system of banks and this thing that was created back in 1913 called the Federal Reserve. And I guess the only thing really behind it that I can really think of when you get right down to it is the Marine Corps, right? We'll send the army to go kill people if they don't want to get behind our system. So it's got that. It's got coercion behind it. But other than that, it's purely fiat, right? It's a system. It's a lie that everyone agrees upon. So $1 is worth $1 because we've all agreed to the lie. $100 is worth $100 because we've all agreed to the lie. But crypto, this thing that started with this function called proof of work, where you have a math equation that takes a lot of what to solve? It takes a lot of energy to solve. Where do you get energy from? You get energy from the sun. So what underlies my currency is the universe, is the sun. That's what underlies my currency. Your currency is underlined by nothing. So, I love getting to do that. It's like my favorite thing. Love getting to do that. But it's true, right? Like, and I know Solana's not proof of work, but we're proof of stake. I get it, but everything is so tied to Bitcoin that you can still kind of do it and get away with it. Um, Especially with someone who doesn't know better. But like it really, it really is like it really is funny because the people who have a problem, and it's normally from a place of ignorance, right? Because they just don't know about crypto. So like the people who have a problem with crypto have faith in the US dollar. Like think about that for a second. What's behind or forget the US dollar. Well, I don't need to pick on USD. How about the euro, or even worse, the Chinese yuan? Like, what behind any of that? Like a bunch of ghost cities in China. You know, uh, what's behind it? Like nothing. There's nothing. What's behind that is uh, the Chinese Communist Party saying saying that you better use it. That's what's behind it. What's behind the euro? Again, just like the United States, a big system of debt, a system of debt. So you're like you're monetizing. You're basically monetizing this strange system that's based on like debt and credit that somehow grows, even though it's like there is no growth in it because it's debt. Like explain. I don't know. It's again uh, doesn't even make sense. So what we have in here, and this is why crypto is going to ultimately win. Um, Again, because the like John Adams said, facts are stubborn things. The fact is that there's nothing behind any one of the world's fiat currencies. There's nothing behind them. Nothing except government coercion. And people
It's
don't
just
like
trust me,
being
bro, is what's behind
coerced.
it.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's trust me, bro, until you don't trust me, then well, I can take your freedom away. I can put you in jail. right? So it starts off with phase one is trust me, bro. Then after you don't trust me, bro, it's like, well, if you don't trust me, then I can take your freedom away. People don't like that, right? People like voluntarism, right? And crypto is based on a system of treating adults like adults and letting adults make their own decisions and say, hey, I trust you. I trust you to make the best decision for yourself that you can, right? That's what crypto does. Government fiat money treats you like a child and says, well, I don't trust you. I don't think you're able to make decisions for yourself. So we're going to make decisions for you and you're just going to go along with it. Okay. Okay. Now go back to your room and play with your toys, right? That's government money. Crypto money is go live your life how you see fit. That's the big difference there. And, it's not hard for me to see or figure out which one of those systems is going to ultimately prevail. It's pretty simple actually. I mean, there's never look, crypto's been around for 13 years at this point. Can you point out to me anything else in human history from, the Dutch tulips to Roman salt? Like can you point out anything to me, any commodity, any currency, anything that in 12, 13 years has been able to disrupt financial systems in the way crypto has? And not only that, not only disrupt, but also gain the amount of traction and wealth that it has. Like crypto at this point, and this is being down about 70%, is worth what, 2.6, 2.7 trillion dollars right now. So it's a very good fraction of world GDP. It's a very serious fraction. So in one decade, cryptocurrency has been able to account for wealth that overtakes 99% of the countries in the world. So when has that ever happened? I can answer that never is when that's happened. Never. It's never happened. So, it's already shifting. It's already. So, again, everyone in this room is super early to the party and is going to benefit from that just because they're early to the party. And it's only like this is only going to speed up more and more and more. We're all just early adopters. I mean, putting Stacker Agent aside, not even like counting that's obviously going to build a lot of wealth for you. But even if you decided like, no, I'm not even gonna do the stacker thing, that's too risky for me. I don't like risk. If you just like took whatever money you have put into crypto and you turned your phone off right now and you never listened to me again and you never went on X again and you didn't you sell your giraffe right now and you just let it all kind of sit in some cryptocurrency and you come back and check it in 10 years, 20 years, you'll be a very happy person, assuming that Solana's still there and stuff. But, making that assumption, I'm sure you'll be, very, very happy person because simply just being here right now means you get to do something that um, the last time someone got to do this was like Paul Warburg. You know what Paul Warburg was? Paul Warburg, the Monopoly guy. The Monopoly guy is a caricature of Paul Warburg. He was the like banking empire, um, um, the Rothschild banking empire in Europe that like served all the royal families. Paul Warburg was their agent in the U.S. He kind of looked after their interest in setting up the financial reserve system here in America. So the monopoly guy has been able to do what you're doing right now, which is be the first one to a new financial system. Um, most people don't get to do that. The people who get to do that are like people who are so lucky that they build
Oh, like
conspiracy
the
theories
stock
around them.
exchange, like New
You
York
know,
Stock Exchange started in 1792. That seems like a long time ago when you think in like a lifetime.
but
But
even
that's
that
just a
isn't
few.
what I'm talking
That's just a
about.
few.
But even
But
that's not what I'm saying.
I'm just saying
Like
like there's opportunities like
that
that. eh,
that's even
Yeah.
different though. Like this is a bigger
Hmm.
opportunity than
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
This is a much bigger opportunity than that. This is, you get to be part of, not just a stock
The
exchange,
elites were the only
which
ones that
was
were
just,
involved in that at the time
yeah.
too.
Well, and not even like royals, right? Like royals weren't even privy to that. It's just like the people who gave the royals credit were the ones who were privy to that. And again, we're talking about like five people, you know, who got to be privy to the last, um, the last time we started a new financial system. There's five people. Those are the people that, sat down and created the Federal Reserve System. So you get to be one of the five people now. I get to be one of those people right now where we're going to be in that room that says, here's the new system that the world's going to operate on. This is going to be this is the new financial system. And we get to be like first to the party. Again, this is an opportunity that it doesn't happen every generation. It doesn't like, this is very, very rare
And
that something like this
Joe, to your
happens.
point, like that happened. Like it doesn't happen every generation, but it's like it's happening right now for us, so we have to take
Yep.
advantage of it.
Totally. Yep.
Hmm.
Totally.
And
Like I liked your analogy of like putting the net up,
oh
and
yeah,
like grabbing money while it's in
yeah,
flow.
it's
Like,
moving one way or another. We just need like the way I look at Stacker is it's catching the movement of that money better than anything else. It's a better net, and it does it
right.
when I'm sleeping. It does it while I'm here on Spaces. It does it when
Well,
I'm
and it's
going
so
live.
much more than that too,
And yeah,
because you're stacking money, yeah, but you're also stacking, it's so much more than that in the sense that it's like you're stacking the kind of money that's going to be used in the future,
exactly.
right? So it would be like it would be like having a time machine, like
Hmm.
you're from, whatever point in the future, and you get to come back and, like open a bank account 100 years ago and put money
Hmm.
in and let it grow. It's like that's
It,
sort of what we're doing right
and
now.
and it's going to be the next generation. Like, let's be perfectly honest, we're going to benefit from this a lot, but it's like the generation after. Like, we're in our 30s, Joe and I. But I think it's the generation that's younger than us that's really going to benefit from this substantially. Like the people that are just entering the job markets right now and stuff like that. That generation and younger, they're just going to be grown into this, and this is going to be the financial market that they've always known. You and I, we grew up in something else, and we saw the birth of this and saw this grow. And to us, we had something that was, and there's something that will be. And there's going to be a lot of people, once all what they know is this is it's not going to be a, oh, we don't like that. The once the old generation that started it, dies off. Let's be perfect, like dies off, and it's just the generations that have always been in this financial system. It's over. Like there's no more fight back because that's what it's always been.
So I agree and disagree. I agree with you that I think, the next generation's gonna be better positioned to use this stuff, and just number one, just have a better understanding because they're just gonna simply be born into that world, right? Um, but I think in our lifetime, I really do think in our lifetime, we will see uh, like crypto become king. I I do think so. I don't think
Oh,
that's too
I wasn't
far in the
saying
future.
that's not in our lifetime. I was just saying that in our lifetime there won't be any. You know how there's that you ever once in a while run into that old person that's just doesn't want to change their ways.
Oh, sure, I'm that
Yeah,
person,
but
and I'm
I'm
not
just
even
saying,
old.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's that person
Yes.
that
Yes.
just
Yeah.
refuses. Like my grandfather. got mad at my dad because he said you can get this computer and not use your typewriter. And like my dad's told me recently, like, man, I kind of like understand why he would get grumpy at me now, because when you try to explain this stuff to me, he's like, it's the same thing, but there'll be a
Dude,
generation.
I came in here kicking and screaming myself. So again, I get it.
Mhm.
I'm uh I'm an old
it,
man
it
in
it won't
spirit.
be this fringe thing that a percentage of the population is involved in. It will just be finances.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I know. And again, it's like I'm like I said, I came in here kicking and screaming, and again, it's only because I had such an agreement with crypto on such a philosophical level. Just getting getting I anytime power congeals and centralizes, it's bad for people. There's never a single time in history where a state grows, or it doesn't even need to be a state. Anytime power congeals, power centralizes, unless you're the person at the top of that heap, it's bad for everybody. It's never good, never good. And you just never. There's nothing you can point to where you can say, "Oh yeah, all that power going over here that really helped this." No, it's always bad for anyone who isn't at the top of that heap. So anything that can distribute power in the most like meritocratic way possible, which is what I saw with crypto, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. The bigger the state, the smaller the citizen. And when you have a financial system where you get to rip control away from the government and give it to people and let them be masters of their own destiny, sign me up. I'm all for it. So that's what got me in here. But then that meant I had to start learning computers and stuff, which is why I say I came in kicking and screaming, because then I
Well,
had to learn
luckily
all
you
this
do
like
most of
tech
it from your
stuff.
phone.
Yeah, but I mean I had to like learn, I would prefer to have a flip phone right now. I would prefer to not have a smartphone. I'd prefer to not have an email address and have to like do all this type of stuff. Just saying, like for real. I mean
Oh,
that. I'm not even trying to
I,
joke. Like
I, I
I
get you
mean
on the
that.
email part.
I would just like rather not have any of this stuff. But um this is what it requires. So, I'm here. I'm here for it. Because again, like I really am. I'm saying like I really am like that, like a Luddite by nature. Like I really am that person who like I don't particularly like all of like I think it's made people a lot more distant, and like like people just seem like they're half awake all the time. Just go out into any city and look at people. They're like halfway awake. And I feel like a lot of that is because of televisions and internet, and like people are just sort of like not there. No one reads a book anymore. Like people again, like people just aren't really like awake. And I really feel like technology is a big reason for that. And so I'm not trying to shit on technology. Oh, I am, I guess, but that's not my point here. What I'm just trying to say is like
There's always bad actors that use
because of
technology
crypto,
to do things. So
because of crypto, I had to learn this stuff. I wouldn't have learned this stuff otherwise. Like I wouldn't. There's no way I'd be working on this thing I'm working on right now if it wasn't for crypto. But that's how important I felt this is. Like I felt it's so important and so like world changing that I started learning things that like I didn't want to learn and had no interest in. I guess that's what I was trying to go with it.
Hey, one more thing, and I'm gonna bounce out here.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually close up anyway, big boy. So hit me with one more thing, brother.
Um, no, I've never really trust banks after I ran into a couple situations with them, so I don't keep my money in the bank.
Good.
I hate banks.
Me
They're,
too.
they're crooked. Um, but
What did I say? Anytime power comes together, it's bad for people. That's banks.
yeah. So
That's banks.
what I
Yeah.
was getting to was like I think Gary spoke about it. about Bank of America or something. I think that's the one he mentioned, but all of them in general at some point maybe would have a wallet,
Oh
or
yeah, and they're all going to make stable coins for sure.
yeah. So that
Yep.
being said, I've been dealing with this for a long time, but that might change my outlook on it, and I'll adapt at that point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I never trusted them because of some of the situations I had. They got too much control over my money.
Yeah.
So hopefully this kind
Well,
of
so
thing
this
can
is going
move
to be
forward.
their way. So here's what I would say to that. This is going to be their way to adapt and stay relevant. So one of two things will happen here. They will they will either get changed from the inside out. So, like, in order for them to stay alive, they're going to have to be, again, there's a reason why all these old financial institutions from the outset, they all hated Bitcoin and were against crypto. And they were the people who would go on the media, right? And they would always say things like this, right? They'd be like, oh, Bitcoin, you mean the money that's for like drug dealers and human traffickers? Ho, 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 ho. It isn't going to do anything. Well, now it's their death knell, so they're like, "Oh shit, we better adapt because that thing we used to joke about 10 years is actually putting us out of business." So, um this is them trying to adapt. So like one of two things will happen here. Either
Hmm.
they will become very crypto friendly and they'll decentralize and it'll be a very happy story and it'll be rainbows and lollipops for everyone. So I don't think that's going to happen. So what I do think is going to happen is this is them trying to adapt to stay relevant and for them to figure out their next play and how to keep their status and control while like while on the inside of the crypto game. So I
Right.
hope it doesn't work in their favor
Right.
because these aren't people who I particularly like. They play casino with the world's money,
Yeah.
and then when they fuck up, then they come and turn to you and me to bail them out,
Yeah. Well.
right? So
Yeah.
I hope things can move quick enough to where just the speed at which a large sclerotic bureaucratic organization like that can't move fast enough and they just die. That's what I hope happens. Unfortunately, I think there's just too much money. They're too powerful. These financial dynasties carry a lot of weight, and they run countries, they run the world. So I don't
Yeah.
think that'll happen. I think
Yeah.
they'll figure out a way to do what they've done, you know, for all time, where they'll figure out a way to bend the rules in their favor. They'll buy the right people off, and that's why it's so important that we get the crypto genie out of the bottle as quickly as possible. Like it already is, right? There's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube anymore, but they could still kill us with regulation. They could still, yeah, they're having wonderful success, by the way, in Europe right now.
Yeah.
So like
I heard
this
about that.
hasn't been nothing but wins for us. Like um, they they they've done great in China and they're doing great in the EU right now. So it's really up, like right now, it's really up to us in America to like really, really lead the way,
Yeah.
which we are, along with a couple other small countries like El Salvador and Kenya. So we don't exactly have like the A team, but we do, like, we are catching on, right? Like the good news is that some of these, like, poorer countries, they see the opportunity with it, and they can see, like, again, like El Salvador has like changed their whole country, right, with Bitcoin, and like pulled themselves out of utter hell and like become this massive success story. So we to me, I think it's a big race. I feel like we're in like this like very, very urgent race where there's very little time and we have to get ourselves established because all the old bad actors, like they didn't go away, and they're coming for us, right? They want to snuff it out, and they can't snuff it out the way they wanted to 10 years ago. So they're going to try to snuff us out with regulation. And that's why it's so important that like we have people we have people in power who are crypto friendly. And right now we have
Yes.
a very, very crypto friendly Congress.
Yes.
It's like the first time we've actually had it. So,
Right.
hopefully they can do something, and hopefully they can get some um, they can get some blocks in place to where they can't really where they can't kill us with regulation, because that's going to be the game plan. The game plan is going to be to litigate and to regulate. And, it's, it could work. It very well could work. So,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the one, that's the thing that scares me. And,
Mhm.
our politicians, these aren't people who are really known for integrity. They have the spine of a fucking worm, and they sell very cheap. So, you know, uh, again,
No, I
like
got you.
it's kind of yet to be seen.
I mean, it's so bad. I've actually owned my own business since I was 25. I'm kind of like you guys. I got, about being, a recovering addict. I am.
Hmm.
But I was 25 when I got clean. So I've been clean 33 years.
Good for you.
August 19th this year. So
Good for
I
you.
run my own business since then. I haven't punched the clock, So that was my goal. I got there early. I got lucky, on that one. But I'll go to the ATM, bro. If I see something I'm gonna buy on here, I have to drive to the ATM. I fund it. I buy the
Hmm.
Solana. I send it in my wallet and I buy the damn giraffe.
Yep.
I mean, it's that bad, dude. And I'm not gonna change what I do. If I miss it, I miss it. But
Yeah.
I'm not putting them in control. That's out.
No, I'm the same way, man.
Oh well,
I do not have money in a bank.
I'll be done.
Yeah, I don't use a bank.
I probably heard that. I
Um,
just forgot. But
yeah,
anyway,
I gotta
but
figure out
yeah,
a way
I
to
yeah.
just
get
I
wanted.
haven't.
my fiat income deposited into like a exchange or something.
Yeah, I don't use a bank at all. And again, like if I had a job, like
Right.
you have,
Oh yeah,
Dunk,
it's like
like that, then sure I'd have to have something to like have them send my check
yeah,
to.
and
But
then you
even
turn that
then,
into
I'm sure you just
you
send
can
it
turn
right
that into
over.
USDC right away. Yeah.
Yeah, right,
Like
right. I'm
I
sure that's
keep
what you
enough
do.
to like I have certain bills that that I get charged that there's some that will not that you have to be billed to a bank and not through a credit
That's
card.
not
Not
true.
through a
That's
not through
not
a credit
true.
card.
I don't use it. I pay every one of my bills with my crypto card.
There
I pay my mortgage. I pay everything
I think
with
my
my.
car insurance is the only thing that I can't put on a credit card. I think everything else I can.
Well, I I don't know, because like even my car I don't even like use a credit card, so I don't even have a credit card. Again, it's like I have like the card I use is a crypto.com card.
I
So
got
when
to
I
go
need a
grab one of those
card to like
ones.
pay for bills, that's what I pay
Hmm.
everything with. And I just send money to my there's with crypto.com you have like a million
Hmm.
wallets basically. You have a wallet for every coin and like every network. And so I just send like money to my USDC wallet, and then from that wallet, it just like you top it up onto your card. It's like having like a prepaid card basically, and
Yeah.
you just put it on the
Yeah,
card, and
that sounds good. I like that actually.
yeah,
I need to figure
I
that one
pay
out
everything with
for
it.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I need
I
to
pay
figure that one
everything with
out
that. And
too.
if I need an ATM,
You don't have to
same thing.
lock up their token, do you?
No, you can if you want, but like if you want to get like the equivalent of like a black card, then you can
Like,
lock up like 100,000,
hmm
and then you have like the same as like having like you get like the same benefits of having like a black card, except for the credit part, unless you apply for it. But like I don't even want to do that. So like
hmm
no, I don't do that. I just have just the regular simple ass. um, little top up card where again it works just like a prepaid
Nice.
card. That's it. Yeah.
I'll have to go apply for one of those then.
Yeah, dude, it's
I have
super
the
easy. Super easy.
like I have my Coinbase debit card where basically if anything I put any USDC in there, I can just swipe that. There's just a few places that I noticed that don't take it.
Well, well, it's because I'm like big boy, man. Like I refuse to let banks touch any of my
Hmm.
money. Refuse. It and like even that little bit of needing to use the crypto.com card, it's like I do that purely out of necessity. Like I don't even really like using a central exchange. I just I kind of have to, and I'm not going to use Coinbase because Coinbase is like in bed with Bank of America and Wells and
Hmm.
all that. So I would rather use crypto.com because I'm at least using like a small bank, an international bank when I'm doing that.
Yeah, I hear
So I'm at least kind of protected there. I'm in a different jurisdiction
you.
and like I'm
And
fine. And then like
because
I.
you're like paying with like USDC, is
Mhm.
is there a transaction fee to?
You don't even notice it. It's so small you don't notice it. I couldn't even tell, like, I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, because
I
like
probably haven't spent $1 in
you
fees this year.
you know what I mean. Like if you go to Coinbase and you just
Yeah.
like I'm gonna sell my Solana for USDC, and they're
Yeah.
like there that 50
It's like
that yeah,
10%.
it's like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
50
Yeah. Right.
USDC that you were about to get. You had a $1.50 fee.
Yeah, yeah, right, right. It's so
Uh,
ridiculous.
would
I
you
know.
like to
I
pay
know.
an extra $10 to get your money instantly?
So like with exactly. So with and this is why I use the crypto.com one
But I didn't realize
because
it was a top-up
it's
card. I thought you had like a that you were like paying a credit card with
no.
crypto.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, it's a
So
top up. It's like
okay.
a prepaid
That
card.
works. So you're basically
And
selling your
there's
USDC into that top
yep,
into the
that's it.
USD you're committing to that price, but if it's USDC anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Whatever, you just do it in USDC.
Hmm.
Exactly. You just do it in USDC. I mean, you can do it in any other token. You can do it in Aerodrome Finance, for God's
Hmm.
sake. You know what I mean? You can do it in anything. But I like to just do everything in USDC just so I don't like if a coin is like starting to kind of like go on a little run. Normally, I don't even like keep money in
Hmm.
Solana anyway because I just kind of keep everything in Gary. But like, let's say I happen to have a few bucks in Solana and it makes a little like $20 pump in a day, then I'll just like move that over and then top up with that because then it's like cool. I just got 20 free bucks. You
Hmm.
know, but normally I just do it with USDC.
Cool. Yeah, I'll go
Yeah,
apply for that soon.
yeah. I would suggest everyone do it. It's the easiest on ramp to crypto too. So like if you're gonna
I already
like,
have a account there too, so I would just have to add the card.
there you go. So you just add the card,
I
and the
use it
card
as an
will
on ramp too.
you'll be able to use it instantly. You'll be able to use it instantly.
Oh,
By the
cool.
way, so like yeah, like you'll get before you even get your physical card, which will take like a week. Like within 24 hours, they'll have it active,
Just
and
digital
you'll at least
version.
like have your numbers and stuff, so you can use it digitally. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
top
mean
up money
that's
to
the
it.
idea. Like if your main income source is online on blockchain, then you don't want to have to send it to a bank first. Like
That's
you want to
right.
just
Yeah, like cut the
pay
banks
your
out.
bill
Cut,
on that card,
fuck those
and
people,
then
man. Yeah.
hey, and if you're using
All you're doing with the bank, by the way, just so everyone's crystal clear, what you're doing when you put money in a bank, you're giving somebody an interest-free loan
Mhm.
where they take your
Almost
money and gamble
yeah,
with it,
exactly.
and and uh and then your thank you for
Is like
that
a
is
fraction of a
you
fraction of a fraction of a percent.
your thank you for that is you lose about
The
3% in
value.
inflation.
Mhm. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that too.
that's
But
your
that's the point, you're
thank
not
you.
even getting enough to get you past
You
and
lost
most of those
money, and
people, they're putting that money in things like, you know, managed market mutual funds and stuff like that that
Right,
are
where you still
well,
lose
but like
money.
those
Yeah.
ones they're making, they'll go like, hey, you're gonna make like 10% a year, and they're like in those ones directly, by the way, if you actually invest in those, and they'll tell you, oh, you'll make 10% a year. These are these same banks. You know how much
More like 4%,
even if
but
it's
yeah,
4%,
sure.
there you go,
Yeah.
4% a year. That's great. Oh, you know how they're making like 100, 200, 300% on your money, and
Well, do you
blessing
know
you with
what's actually
4%.
happening there? What's actually happening there, Dunk, is when you make a deposit there, since we use fractionalized banking,
I
so
know the 1 to 10,
meaning they get to take
90.
about 70% of your money and go play with it. When you put it in one of those money markets, now they get to take that last
Mm-hmm.
30% and go play with it. So really what they do is they take all that, they go play with it, and they say, yeah, here's your 4% back,
Mm-hmm.
thanks.
Then they
So
usually
you're
get,
just giving an interest-free
yeah,
loan.
and if they
That's
lose the
all.
money, then they're like, oh no, and
Then
then
they
they go
come
like, oh,
back to you and say, hey, we're too big to
our bank
fail.
is
Yeah.
good thing we have that federal insurance, and then the government bails them out, and then the cycle continues.
No, the government doesn't bail anything out. The government doesn't have
Oh,
money.
they
You
they
bail them
they
out.
you
You bail them out.
the
The
government
government
does it
has
for
your
you.
money. You bail them out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm glad they screwed me early on. Well, I figured it out. He done me a favor. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Done me a favor.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna bounce out, man. Make sure you
Hmm.
tell
Yeah,
everybody
man.
to go
You
to.
guys go. Yeah, I know. You guys go have a good Easter. You guys don't need to hear me be a curmudgeon about the corrupt banking system that we
We could
have.
talk
I
about
know,
it
right?
another time. Curmudgeon.
Yeah.
But hit the thing tonight at 9 with Bearded and Long Neck at 9.
Hmm.
Tell
What are you
everybody
talking about, big boy? You shouldn't be in there. What do you? I thought
they're high,
you're
man.
getting
I
mad at me
understand, but
joking
I don't
about
need
booze. They're in there using
I don't
narcotics.
need a sponsor anymore, dude. I'm good.
Love it. I'm all good,
All
bro.
right, gals and
All
girls.
right, man. We'll see you,
All
dude.
right, later.
Yeah.
Peace.
I quit drinking too. Just beer and wine. Just beer and wine. That's it. None of the hard stuff anymore. I love that. I was like I forgot what show. There's a show called like Brotherhood on Showtime. It was a great show. I don't think it got like noticed like it should.
Hmm.
And there's this Irish mom. She's like, "Oh yeah, he quit drinking like 10 years ago. Yeah, yeah. Only beer and wine. Only beer and wine." I love it. It's so great. You got to see, dude. If you have Showtime, you got to watch that
What's it
show. It's
called?
so fucking good. It's called
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's about this like politician. He's in. I think it takes place in Rhode Island,
Sounds about right.
and it just kind of shows that like small state.
Yeah.
Just like the small state corrupt politics, bro. Like Delaware is the most corrupt state in the union, right? Like that's hence why like I would always incorporate in Delaware, but like those like small state corrupt politics,
Hmm.
bro. It's just oh
Less
my
people paying
god, and it's like
attention.
the show kind of follows like it follows this family. Like one brother, he's like in the state assembly. The other brother, he's like a bookmaker. He's kind of like running numbers and stuff. And oh man, it's such a good show, dude. It's such a good show. It's kind of like a cross of like. Did you ever see that show The Wire
I've seen some of it.
on
I never really
HBO?
watched it though.
It's kind of like that in a way where it kind of like follows like all the stories from like politics to street
Hmm.
level, and it just kind of like shows like all the different stories in between. It's like it's a little like Sopranos and a little like Wire. It's a fucking great show. You just got to watch it, and I won't do it justice. You got to watch it, man. So good. Um, Phenomenal show. Anyway, I'll leave you guys with
I'll
that.
check it out.
Watch Brotherhood, and happy Easter, everybody. Happy
Happy
Pascha.
Easter.
Yeah, Easter's the new word. Pascha is what it was called for a long time. Anyway, love y'all. Take care, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Peace out, everyone.
Peace out.